Your dial is on Sunny 88.7 FM, and this morning we are joined by Dr. Albert Sodohia, who's a specialist psychiatrist at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This week, from Monday, it's been quite a devastating one for us in this country, seeing videos of people, lives being swept away, people's property, houses being submerged, cars being submerged in the compounds of their owners. It's been it's quite tough to see all that's happening. We have Doc with us, Dr. Albert, and Doc will be touching on a few things on our mental health at this time, particularly for those who are traumatized by all the losses and seeing the level of flooding probably they've never seen in their lives before, having to be in it with their children, their loved ones. Doc, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the iMDRIVE on Sunny FM.
Good morning.
All right. So, Doc, many people have survived the floods, but we've seen the numbers. At least about 12 people we've heard who have lost their lives. People have lost their homes. People have lost their businesses. Others are struggling with fear. Every time it looks like it's about to rain, they're wondering what is going to happen. What are some of the normal emotional and psychological reactions people may be experiencing right now?
So first of all, our heart goes out to them. Speaking on behalf of the Psychiatric Association of Ghana and the Mental Health Authority, our heart goes out to everyone who's lost some properties, and for those who have lost some relatives, friends, family members, our heart goes out deeply to you. Yes, we all saw what happened. We watched the videos live on social media. It has both positive and negative impacts. But what I want us all to know is there's no right or wrong way to react to a traumatic event like this, like the flooding. And as we heard in the news, this rain has been one of the heaviest for a very long time. So when things like this happen, unexpected, unplanned, unanticipated, the human body is designed to react, to when the body feels that it's in danger. So the reaction to this, the loss of property, friends, and all that, the first one is, of course, shock or disbelief. You'll be in a state of shock. Did this really happen? Like, my house is flooded, I've lost properties, and this person is dead because of the flood and all that. So there'll be shock or disbelief, and of course, it will be followed by you'll be afraid. You'll be anxious, especially whenever you hear or you see the clouds forming, or you hear the sounds of thunder. It's going to bring back memories of the past or the recent one. And of course, the person is going to feel very sad and begin to grieve over what has been lost, and of course, the sleep will be affected. The person will have poor sleep because the body is now in a stress response mode. So it's not likely that you're going to have, sound sleep maybe like before. So the sleep will be deeply impacted. You may notice that the person is becoming easily angered. Because of the stress. It's all part of the stress response, a complicated stress response that the body goes through. The person will become easily angered because he or she has lost properties, has lost some things, and the person still has to be at work or has to be, something like that. I just heard a colleague whose house also got flooded, and that person lost some things. So imagine that person to come to work. You don't expect that person to be, if that happens to you, Madam Jennifer, you know what that is going to be like.
Yeah.
And the person, because of the stress response, he or she will be easily startled.
Yeah.
Every little thing, anything that sounds like thunder, anything that sounds like rainfall. We have rainfall sounds and all that. Anything that sounds like it may startle the person. And if the person is working or at home or in school, there will be poor concentration. Yeah. And you may notice acutely or in the short term, the person may become forgetful. It's all part of it. And because you can imagine you running away from home that is flooded, and watch your house submerged, watch your car submerged, watch your properties carried away with the water current. You know how it feels. Like you feel helpless, you feel hopeless. So that feeling of helplessness, that feeling of hopelessness, it's a reaction. So it may continue even after the rains have drained away and everything. You feel like, actually, I'm not able to help myself. So you feel helpless. Actually, there's no hope for me. You may feel hopeless, and it may go on further to other symptoms. Again, you may blame yourself. Some people may blame themselves. Maybe you got a property somewhere, and somebody said, no, come to this area. Say, no, this is close to my workplace. This is cheaper. Or this is, it's a good area. It's better I stay here than the other place. And then this happens to you. you may begin to blame yourself, and some people may also have what we call survivor's guilt. So let's say 2 or 3 of you were carried by the water current and you got saved by somebody. I watched a video like that. And then you hear later the other people died. You may ask yourself, why did I survive? Why did I also just die? So survivor's guilt is one of the normal reaction. And like I said, there's no wrong or right way to react to things like this. No matter whatever your body is going through, it's okay not to be okay, like we always say. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay sometimes, yeah.
Doc, thank you so much. And you mentioned sleep. I mean, some people definitely are feeling overwhelmed. Some are feeling anxious. Some are definitely unable to sleep, as you've mentioned, because of what has happened, because of what they've heard. Some may not have had their homes flooded, but just the videos they've seen alone fills their heart with fear. Can you share with us some practical steps we can take today to begin caring for our mental and emotional well-being at this time? Because we are told the rains are going to keep coming. What can we do, Doc?
So in cases like this, down to the weather forecast, you, first of all, if it happens to you, you have to relocate. Move to a higher ground, maybe move your family to, a friend's place. That's one of the practical things you should do. If you are working, your employers have to understand that they have to give you some days off so that you can take care of yourself. Life first. If you are not here today, somebody else is going to take up your job anyway. Yeah. So they should give you some kind of work. You need to relocate temporarily and salvage as much property as you can and relocate temporarily. Talk to someone you trust. You can share your experience with a family member, a friend, a faith leader. If you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, or whatever, you have to, and of course, talk to a health professional. And because of this thing that is happening, it will disrupt your routines. So you have to begin to, develop or maintain a routine like, waking up, going to bath, eating your regular meals, sleeping at certain times, just so that you begin to gradually restore your normal routine. And you have to limit your repeated exposure to disturbing videos.
Okay.
On social media. That's re-traumatizing because you have gone through it. And watching it over and over and over just keeps it well stamped into your memory, and that is not good for you. So you have to limit exposure to it. It's always important to have good social support, have friends and family that you always stay in touch with. And of course, you have to practice some very simple relaxation techniques like deep breathing exercises, slow deep breathing exercises. Those who are religious, you can, resort to prayer, meditation. If that means something to you, you can do that. And remember to stay connected to friends. Do not isolate yourself. Don't be alone. Always make sure you're with other people. Of course, offer help to those you can and also receive help from those you can as well. And as it's happening, because of the sense of helplessness and hopelessness, you need to focus on what you can control.
Okay.
You can't control the weather. It's a natural thing. We know the extent of the devastation is all part of human activities and attitude is part of it. But however, it's a natural disaster. We can't control how much rain falls. So you focus on what you can control. Salvage as much properties as you can. Relocate yourself as much as you can. Ask permission from your employer as you can. Look for some of the things you can control. So you stay on that. The locus of control. You control the things that you can control, of course. Okay. Seek professional help very early. And somebody might ask, when do I do that?
Exactly.
You have to immediately you realize the symptoms are persistent. We will not even wait for it to be weeks. Right now, start speaking with professionals, doctors, nurses, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, anyone, leaders, mentors. Start seeking professional help immediately.
So, Doc, you've mentioned symptoms. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Especially when you notice that the symptoms are beginning to impact negatively your work, your school, or your family life. It's a red flag. It's a signal for you to seek professional help. Very, very important. And some people, when it happens like this, will choose rather to withdraw themselves from loved ones. Some may also resort to abuse of, substances like alcohol and illicit drugs as a way of wrongfully coping. Wrongfully, exercise. But that is not the way to go. So stay with the path, stay connected, seek professional help. And you are asking a question, please.
Yeah, so Doc, I was going to ask you the topmost symptom that by the time you see this recurrent, you know that you need to get to a health professional, a mental professional as soon as possible. If there's one you would prioritize.
Yes, if your sleep is gravely disturbed, if always in persistent fear of the next rain, if you are you perceive your heart is beating faster, you've lost appetite, you begin to feel sad and crying over the lost properties and everything else. If you realize you are now beginning to feel so down, getting easily tired, you are losing interest in things that you used to like. Once you begin to have any of these symptoms, you are preferring to be on your own rather than talking to people. Once you have any of these symptoms,
Doc, thank you so much. If you just joined us, we have been speaking with Dr. Albert Esedohia, specialist psychiatrist at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Doc, we wanted to finally ask you, for children who have had to see their parents frustrated, they've been a part of seeing their parents' homes submerged, their cars submerged, for children who are hanging on to life, possibly living in slums. What is the effect that it will be on them, and what can parents do at this time to support their children who've experienced this?
Okay, so just to add more context to what you just said, some children didn't only watch their parents, some actually were in the class.
Exactly.
They actually experienced it, and some were not living in slums. They were living in first-class residential areas, and this thing happened to them. That is the narrative we all saw live, as it was going on. And for children, just like every adult, there will be changes in their routines. Parents should watch out for, children will always seek protection from, their caregivers, their parents, So you notice that the child will become a little more clingy or refuse to separate from their caregivers because the child feels that I am in danger. That is, again, the stress response by the child's body. So the child knows that I'm in danger. Anytime a child senses danger, they run to for protection from shelter from their parents or their caregivers. So in this case, because their body is telling them you're in danger, they will become clingy to their parents or caregivers. You will notice that they may be having sleep difficulties. This child that used to go to sleep soundly, we always say sleep soundly like a baby. This child is no more able to sleep, interrupted sleep, crying, and maybe having nightmares. That's one of the symptoms you may notice. And again, for the younger ones, some of them, and even the fairly old ones, you notice all of a sudden that child has begun to bedwet after previously being toilet trained. So this child has been dry for maybe a year now, for maybe 6 months, maybe for 2-3 years now. And because of this traumatic event, all of a sudden the child is now bedwetting. And of course, just like I said earlier, anytime the clouds are forming, anytime there's rain, there's thunder, this child will begin to experience fear because they anticipate what happened may happen again. And of course, they'll become easily angry. They may be throwing tantrums, they'll be crying, and they may sometimes refuse to play with their peers, with their friends, maybe in school or at home. They may socially isolate. They may withdraw from company. And when they are in school, they may have difficulty concentrating on what is being taught in class because they may be having flashbacks. They may be reliving the traumatic events. Yes, and some of them, of course, they regress in their developmental milestones. Some of them have stopped, like I said, bedwetting, have stopped tongue sucking, have stopped doing certain things. They may regress because of the traumatic event. They may also have some physical symptoms, somatic symptoms, ill-defined, non-specific, like headache, body ache, stomach pain. And you do all the labs and investigation and everything comes out normal. It's all because the child has had this traumatic event, has had to experience it or watch it directly or indirectly. So again, just like I said earlier, when you notice any of these changes in your child or in yourself, seek professional help very early. Let's not wait for it to become post-traumatic stress disorder. No. Now everybody's going through acute stress reaction. Because it's hours to days of the event. So we're going to what we call acute stress reaction. And everybody reacts to it differently. That's why I said there's no right or wrong way for it to react. Whatever it is you are going through, it's okay not to be okay. So just seek help from any hospital, any health facility. There is a mental health unit in every district hospital. So just walk in there. Any hospital in Accra, any part of Ghana, just walk in and tell them, my house got flooded and I'm not able to sleep. The doctors are trained to know what to do. If you can even go for that, say, my house got flooded, I'm not able to sleep, I want to speak to a mental health professional. I want to speak to a psychologist, I want to speak to a counselor, I want to speak to a psychiatrist. and the doctors know what to do.
So, doctor, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that to walk into a health facility, tell them this is the challenge, and tell them you need to speak to a mental health professional and be put through.
You see, the thing is that's why this awareness is very important. That's why when you called on me, I said, no problem, let's do it. Because some people may not be aware that they can do this and get the help. Some may not even be aware there is help. To even add on further, there is even a toll-free line dedicated to, assisting people in any form of mental distress, any form of psychological distress by the Mental Health Authority. It's simple, and I want you to write it down so that you can always, give it back to your people. 0800 678
0800 678 678.
Yeah, so it's 0800 678 678.
0800 678 678.
Very simple line to remember.
Wow.
So you just call that, it's toll free.
Okay.
You call and you speak to the professional at the other end of the line. Let them know what you're going through, and they know how to put you through to the right people.
All right.
So that's the dedication from Mental Health Authority to help. So there is help available.
Wow.
But a lot of people, because there's very little mental health awareness in our part of the world, a lot of people don't even know they can get help. But you see, the easiest people, the closest people you can get help from are your relatives, family, friends, leaders, mentors. They are very close to you. You live with them day to day. So you have a mentor, you have a religious leader, you have a boss at work. You can just go and speak to the person. Your friends, your peers, you can speak to them and share your experience and tell them your fears. And anybody shares any of these things with you, get them the help. You can give them the number, you can guide them to the hospital, you can give them the contact of a counselor, of a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or just advise them on what you've heard we're talking about here.
Doc, thank you so much. What we're going to do is that we're going to share this toll-free number on our socials, so anybody who comes across it can also see it and quickly reach out for help. We're glad to know there's help available. We're going to spread the word. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Dr. Albert Sedohia. We'll definitely catch up with you again. Have a blessed day and stay safe as well.
You too.
Bye-bye.